Hi artsy friends, Tristina Dietz Elms here to show you how I make my beetle paintings on what? On a tea bag. It's a fun project and it's a special request by somebody that, well, you know who you are. And I'm going to be using a used tea bag. After I make my tea, I actually empty it dry and then empty the tea bag. And that's what I like to do my designs on. Then I can just put it onto the background. The marker that I'm going to be using to create this design is a Micron pen by Pigma Sakura. And the reason that I do that is that it won't bleed when you use your acrylic water-based paints or inks on here and when I attach it to the background. So I'm going to be creating a background using a combination of gesso and paint. I'll show you how I mix that. And then I'm going to attach the tea bag to the background using some gel medium. Well, the reason I'm putting it on a paper background is that some of this ink is going to bleed through the paper, and I want to be sure that it just goes onto a background like this. So let's go ahead and I'm going to draw the beetle. There we go. Now you can see a little bit of the black in the background. And you can see the translucency. But before we paint this little guy, we need to create a background. And so I'm using a Canson mixed media, XL mixed media book here that has perforation along the edge to color some pages. So you can see I have some pages already pre-colored here, but I'm going to show you how I did that. Let's go ahead and using the palette, I'm going to put some gesso on here. There we go, a nice amount of gesso. And then a little bit, this is a Blick cadmium orange. What I want is to create a pale background so that when I glue down my little guy here, you'll be able to easily see the color both on the top of here and in the background without overpowering the little guy. So here we go. Let's see if we can get a pale orange background. Cadmium yellow deep hue. There we go. There's a pale orange color that's a little bit more warm than just using the cadmium by itself. So now I'm going to initially put on the color with the palette knife just to get it onto the surface. And then I'm going to use a brush to smooth it out. I like the brush strokes to look like they're coming from everywhere. So after laying down my coat, I'm just going back over it to get a more painterly look to the surface. There we go. Now I'm going to take this brush and I'm going to put it in some water. And let's get started. All right, I'm going to use two brushes. King Art. I really like this filbert shape, which is that rounded top, and then a very small Lowell Cornell rounded top. and that'll allow me to get in here to do the details. I have some nice Blick paints here that I've selected in the colors that make up this little guy. So let's get some green. It's mostly green and blue with a pop of that orange and yellow. All right, now it's time to use some gel medium to put that pretty beetle design down. And I'm using Pebio's Bindex, which is a little bit thinner, and I find it works really well with the tea bags. And notice I'm just gently using that palette knife. And then once it's down, I'm going to tear that out of the book, bend over those perforations, and then use a ruler to get a nice clean tear on the edges. And now you can see how beautifully it's adhered, and use your marker pen after it's dry to be sure to sign your work. And thank you for watching. I hope you'll like this video and subscribe.